All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. We're going to continue, and now we are dealing with the Seattle Seahawks playbook. And I got to say, I was surprised with how much potential is in this playbook. It's obviously, I think it's one of my favorites after looking at it. I was surprised. So, right away, I see this play. I want to say, one of you guys asked, how do I build a scheme? Now, my way isn't the best way. My way may not be the best way for you. Okay, so I'm just giving you the way I do it. But when I see a play, the first thing I look at is how does it play against zone? Do we get high-low reads in the play? Do we conflict players in zone? If the answer is no, then right away I don't even like the play. Right? I just move on to something else. Okay, and the reason why is because I like to have plays that have options against a lot of different coverages, and I use that as my bread and butter, right? And then when my opponent decides to cheat and overplay my bread and butter plays, that is when I resort to other plays that counter what they are doing, and it punishes them for cheating, right? And then once they resort back to trying to deal with that play, then we can go back to our bread and butter, right? So that's what I like. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with having a play that's good against just man or good against just cover one, but those are plays I end up resorting to when I run into that problem, right? I don't base my entire scheme around a play that's only good against a couple formations, right? Or I mean, a couple of coverages. So with this play, I mean, this is something that I think I would build off of in this playbook. I would go to a formation, look through the formation, and if I see a play like this, then I say, okay, hey, I like this formation. Let me see what else I can build from this play. But if I go in a formation and there's nothing in there like this, then I don't even deal with the formation. I just move on to something else, right? So right away, this looks like two-man to me, and I think he's going to check out. Let's see here, he does. So right away, I can tell, okay, he's in cover two zone now because they went to go to their particular depth, and then he pressed down so they could be on the LOS, and they're playing with outside leverage. Right? Pre-snap reading stuff, you guys know that. And then he audibled again, so I don't know what he's doing, right? And then he checked down again. But the benefit of this play is we can just treat this like a progression replay. We're just going to read 1, okay, to 2, to 3. Is 1 open? If the answer is yes, then you just throw it to him. If he's not, then you look at 2 and throw it to him, right? And on and on and on. So we don't necessarily, I hate to use the phrase we don't care what he is doing, okay, but we're not overly concerned about what the defense is doing because we're not really going to post-snap read a particular player, and have him dictate where we go with the ball or where our eyes go, etc., right? So we snap the ball. Is 1 open? Absolutely not, right? He's hanging inside for that. We got a player here, but that's the benefit of having a play that has routes that layer off of one another, right? We get a high-low in this part of the field. So we look for 2, and I like the window here, so I'm getting ready to throw this. Now, what if we didn't like 2? Well, then we would get to 3 in the check down, and he's pretty open, right? So I throw 2, and I just don't even know. So that's fine. We just move on. And now we are going to get to a point where I hope I don't go too far with my explanation here. But this is where, I get to the point to where I don't want to play Madden anymore, right? This happens like every year. Some Maddens are worse than others, and I leave the game in September or October. So this Madden has been better than all the rest of them. But stuff like this is what pisses me off. This inside zone split, don't even run it. And I'm not talking about from this formation. I'm talking about in the game period because it's wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. If you guys who know stuff about running concepts, let me know. But it's just wrong, right? And the reason why I hate stuff like this is because a guy who's trying to build a scheme around other plays, when you ruin an entire concept, it kind of affects the rest of the scheme because your scheme is kind of layered off of one another, right? So we run inside zone, and then you overplay that, and then we play like inside zone split or counter, right? But if one of those plays isn't ran right, then your inside zone isn't as strong, right? So it goes off of bread and butter and constraint theory and all that, right? So looking at this is the perfect front for me to run inside zone split. And what's supposed to happen is our left tackle is supposed to leave this guy. Don't even block him, right? You're going to step hard, play side. Play side is this way. Step hard, play side, get on this guy. We're going to get a double team here, okay? So you may think, well, what's going to happen with this guy? He's wide open. Snap of the ball, the left tackle just leaves him, and he's thinking, I'm going to get a big play or a sack or get the back in the backfield. And that's what this player is for. He's going to come all the way across the formation at the snap of the ball and crack this guy. Okay? So that I like it that he's outside the left tackle here. He takes an outside step. The angle just makes it easier for this guy just to eliminate him, right? You step play side, play side, play side, and we get a double team. And what we do is we combo block and peel off to get this guy. Now, whenever I run inside zone split, I know it's backwards. I think you're supposed to run it play side, and then if they overplay play side, that's when you look for the cutback. Me, I've always ran inside zone split when I learned about the concept. When I'm running it, I'm always looking to cut it back. Always, right? We can really just read this defender, okay? If he overplays, let's say he doesn't overplay, he plays in this gap, right? Well, then he can just peel. Actually, he can peel, get a combo block. And he just comes down. Well, then he can peel and just get him, right? And then we have a really nice alley here, right? But in the instance where he overplays it to this gap, well, then this guy can peel and get him, right? But it's still a little muddy here. But this is where we can cut back, right? And it looks pretty when you do it. And I say that because I've been running inside zone split in Madden for years, right? So I know how good it looks when you do that, right? Looking at this front, I just don't see how inside zone split isn't really good. It should be fairly effective. The only way it's horrible is if this happens. Our left tackle does what he's not supposed to do. He flares out to get the M-man on the LOS, and he's not supposed to do that. And it ruins the entire play. The entire concept is ruined just by that alone. Okay? Because this guy is flying over to get this guy, right? That's my job. Okay? Even worse, we now create a player in the box that's free to do whatever he wants. This is a soft box with a double high safety defense. So, it's an advantage for the offense. It's a disadvantage when they bring one in the box because they have one more than what you can block. It's kind of ironic how we should have the advantage, but we make ourselves have a disadvantage by this one thing that happens on this side of the field. And the reason why it messes it up is because I'm still running for this guy, but you have him. You're supposed to be here double teaming and peeling off to get this guy. But now, since you're over here, he's a free player. And it ruins the entire play. Now, our opponent played this horribly. If he would have drove down into the lane that he's supposed to, it would have been no gain. And we only get 3 yards. Stuff like that just really just makes me kind of like, I don't know, man. It seems like they don't even play their game. Okay, I don't. It is what it is. So we move on. I'm not gonna even go over this play. We get a sack, and we get hit. Our left guard, just, he just didn't want to show up, I guess. When you play against the Dolphins, you gotta look for where this guy is. A lot of times when guys pick the Dolphins, they're just trying to send guys deep with speed, because a lot of people think speed is everything in football, and it's not. Okay, you gotta be aware of the different coverages you play against the Dolphins on certain parts of the field. One of you guys I think it's Big Papa, I can't remember, gave one of the greatest like answers to a question in how to defend the Dolphins, and he said, you know, when you are above, I can't remember the threshold he said, but if you were like, the ball was here, then you can play certain coverages that you would not want to play with it being here, right? So like the ball being way over here on this side of the field, I don't think you should ever play like cover one man against this team. Okay? Unless the players are playing way off, and even then in the game they can still just blow right by you, right? So you got to kind of be aware. You got to kind of pick and sprinkle in where you play coverages where you are susceptible to, you know, speed, just going right over the top. So anyways, I'm playing like a single high cover three blitz play, and I like to put someone right over Tyreek Hill so he can't just get a full head of steam and go up the field. He's got to kind of move around somebody and then go, and that helps out the top end of the coverage, right? And I take the outside defender over there, the curl flat in a single high defense, and I like to out leverage the outside of the defense, because when teams put like their entire formation in between the numbers, it's because they're trying to branch out a lot of the times. So why not play a defense like single high against that, to where we kind of want to force everything back to the inside. I have videos on how to defend gun type formations, and I guarantee you will play those formations a lot better if you watch those videos. I feather in between the high-low potential on that side, and I drive on that throw, and we get a tackle. He goes gun tray open, and I hope you guys would implement this play into your toolbox. A very good play, a creeper blitz, or I should say a creeper pressure, because it's not really a blitz. Okay, I have a video on creepers, definitely go check it out. And what's the problem here? Right away you see this, and obviously our opponent sees this as well, because he's making a hand check. He probably audibled him into something else because he sees this press, right? Now notice how we are playing thirds, right? We're not playing cover one man, so he should turn and bail. But we're going to do something to play this a lot better. That's it right there. We're going to use this guy, okay? And obviously our opponent doesn't know that we are over here, right? Because we're not moving around. We just click on him. We don't have to be afraid and back way off pre-snap. And this is something, I watched a DB clinic where this teacher was going over an element to your game as a defensive back you should add. And that's the technique where you press the LOS, you get right up on the guy pre-snap, and you bail at the snap, you know, right? The bail technique. And it adds so much to your game, because when you do that, the receiver, they don't know that you're bailing, right? They think that you're going to press. So at the snap, they try to make a move at the line of scrimmage to evade you. But when they do that, you're already climbing upfield. So it throws off the rhythm and timing of the receiver. It slows them down. And that complements your press game, because now every time you line up like this, I can't assume that you're going to press now, because sometimes when you do that, you bail. Sometimes you press, right? So you just add to your game by just adding the bail, press bail technique, right? So look at this snap. I'm already flying, right? Like, this guy's fast, right? So I'm already just, that's my whole plan when I did that. I'm just going to fly upfield expecting him to try to go deep. And we're just going to stay on top of the route, right? I believe they call that stacking the receiver, right? So it doesn't matter how fast he is. It doesn't matter. If he's going upfield and I'm here, it doesn't matter how fast he is. He can't run through me, okay? Let's see here. Let's go like this. Let's say I'm here, right? And we're both running, and obviously he would win in a race, but he would have to go like around me to go upfield. But when he does that, we just stay on top of him, right? You can't run through us. So, you know, you always hear guys talk about speed, 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 speed. They think that speed is everything in running routes. It's not, not at all. Devontae Adams is not fast at all, but he will torch so many DBs in the game because route running is all about technique and everything else. It's not about just speed, right? I guarantee you, when Devontae Adams tops a cornerback, that's it. He's going to stack the receiver and make himself friendly for the quarterback. So we get a sack with the DB3 play, and I think he went for it, which is fine with me. So I keep going, and I see mesh flat spot. I don't like mesh at all, but I just love the creativity with running it from 4 strong and a bunch. I thought that this was pretty cool, right? So I'm like, you know what, let me run it. What I like about this too is we're running a flat corner on this side, but this guy, if it's zone, he's going to run across and he's supposed to sit it down. So we almost get like a triangle read if they are running like cover 3. Now, granted, he would get there kind of late, but you know, I just kind of like the way it looks and how it looks like it'll play off, right? So I decided to go ahead and run it. And if it's man, I'm going to look for someone who gets open against man, and right there we see it right there. So of course I'm going to press X, and I pressed the wrong button. I intended on hitting X, our guy here, but I accidentally hit R1, so I kind of got bailed out there. I know you guys have done that before. Look at this player, he's the one defending our guy, and we'll see why our guy gets wide open. He runs into somebody. That's what mesh is all about. You're trying to, well, with this formation here, you're definitely trying to get players to run into each other when they're in man. And then with the mesh concept, you're obviously trying to get a rub as well, right? But he gets rubbed right off the jump street, and we get wide open right there. So if I would have let him into space, that could have been a really big gain, and I just messed up there. So we run it again, I think. And I'm not going to even go over that. He kind of curled into the wrong area, which threw me off, and then he fumbled, right? So, you know, we're off to a great start here. So I go to dime 3, cover 3 bluff again. I love running this pressure against a lot of different formations, and I picked the wrong player. I was trying to pick the curl flat player, I think. Forgot what I was trying to do. But we close on that and we get a nice big hit. So here, okay, so this is where I check into stress. So stress is a check that Cody Alexander speaks of on his website that he uses against trips. And I try to simulate that in Madden. Now, obviously, this is not trips. This is a bunch. But I've been tinkering with the same idea of stress against bunch. And I've been liking how it plays it. So I kind of want to play around with it and kind of fine tune it to where, you know, I kind of can utilize it almost as a base coverage or something I can utilize against bunch, because you like to have a lot of different weapons against bunch and stack sets and etc. Oh, and one of the reasons why I love stress is when you play like kick coverage from against a trip set. Now I know this isn't trips, right? But this is just for when we get into trips. When you play stress, stubby, stump, you keep this side of the coverage independent of this side, right? But when you play regular quarters against trips, okay, the backside safety is going to climb over to relate to the number 3, which leaves this player one-on-one. But we don't want this player to be one-on-one, right? So that's why in this game, whenever you see trips, you're going to see me playing stress. I actually make stress like my base coverage now against 3x1 sets. Snap the ball, and I want you to pay attention to something here. Yes, we get an interception, which is always a beautiful thing. But pay attention to this. Watch what happens. This is Hill, right? He's gonna burn and destroy this guy up the field. No, right? And one thing you guys can add to your game is being on the line of scrimmage matters, right? So notice how he's off, he's off, he's on, and he's on, right? Because you're on, it's harder for you to create space if we jam you. If you're off, it's easier for you to make somebody miss you and go upfield, right? So that is why we got that animation to where he got destroyed on the line of scrimmage, okay? And what we're doing on this side as this safety, we're playing almost like that cone technique, okay? Because I'm thinking more so of as in trying to keep this side independent of this side by playing coverages like stress, palm, stubby, and all that. We're able to keep the safety over here so we can double this guy, right? So you play outside, I'll take inside. Also jam him at the line, right? And look at that, right? He's got outside and I got it inside. Like he can't throw that. And we're still, you know, we're still keeping the integrity on this side of the field, right? Now, I don't like the outside leverage here. Stress, I think it teaches, you know, it does teach inside leverage. Stump and stubby, well, we're playing against bunch, right? But for later deals with the coverage, the only difference between stump and stress is that that nickel corner plays with a different type of leverage based upon from what I've seen. So I like cover 3 cloud as well against a team like this because Mr. Hill is over here and we have someone pressing him at the LOS and then we have a safety right over the top, right? So you see just by this play call, we're kind of making it hard for that guy on the outside. Now he goes weak side run, they get a double team. So we are in trouble here because someone's going to peel off and get me. But as the play develops, I'm expecting him to see this and want to cut inside, back. So that's when I push back as well and we make a tackle. Okay, snap the ball. It's flying out of there. I'm just going to out leverage this guy. And I just don't even know what that is. Right, so I'm getting a lot of stuff that just kind of like doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Okay, Y trip's weak, and I'm definitely checking into the stress deal. So what I do is I take this corner and I put him into a deep third, and I'm going to user this corner and play heavy inside leverage. And there are rules to this coverage that hopefully I will go over in a different video. But again, I like it because we keep the safety, the backside safety on this side, and obviously we definitely want to keep that with this guy over here. And I think I did something with this safety here. Let's see. I did. So he's matched up with him, and now he's doubled. You got him, right? And I believe what happens is I think the 3 goes deep. So he's going to take him. Somebody goes under over here. I think it's this player here. And that's the benefit of stress or stump. Okay? Definitely stress. When someone goes under, then I don't have to go deep. I take the under and he will take the over. Right? Let's see what happens. Okay, that's exactly what happens. So now I'm looking to drive on this, knowing that if he goes deep, he's going to take that. Safety's taking the 3 vertical, right? So our 3 rec hangs inside to take away the inside throw. And now he's going to throw to our double covered wide receiver right into the window of our 3 rec. And you got to love how in the game of Madden, when you create like a double team, both of the players play with the same leverage, right? In the ideal world, you play outside, I play inside. Or you play underneath and I play over the top. Never both of us outside or both of us underneath. It defeats the purpose, right? Bracket coverage has never worked in the game of Madden. Okay, so that's very alarming. So we can watch it again. So now I'm looking for more stuff, and when I saw this, I was in shock. Okay, it's just too much. Everything, every word in here is just beautiful. RPO, duo, and then the glance. That's just, the glance is a great concept, and then we're running duo off of that, and then we have this option here. This is, this is something I would build off of 100%, and we are running it from 4 strong. I would 100%, this would be the first formation I use in this playbook, and I would be building off of this play. And if you don't know the glance route, okay, if they're in single high, then you're just looking at the second defender in the second level, and if he drives at all on the run action, then you throw the glance route. I think it's a 5-step quick post, okay? If it's double high, then you look at the safety. Okay, so if it's like quarters, because he's involved in the run fit, and if you snap the ball and he comes hard on his run fit, then you throw the glance route, right? It's just really interesting where if you get single high, you look at a particular defender, and if you get double high, you look at a third level defender, right? Now cover 2 zone, I don't think you would look at him, but cover 4 you would. So obviously I don't like this because he's in cover 3 cloud, and I believe I stayed in the run that I currently have. We're running duo, and I could have cut back into this hole. That hole is there, right? But I messed it up. That's fine. And we move on to the next play, and I think I checked into this. And this is another play from this formation. This formation right here and the plays that they have is just, this is so good, right? And I'm going to show you why this play complements our other RPO. Okay, we're running inside zone, step in, double team, peel, get him. I wonder if he steps in and just lets this guy go. Let's see. He does. This play is like beautiful, right? We're letting him go free because we're going to read off of him if we decide to go there against a different type of coverage. We wouldn't do it here because it looks like some type of cover 2 zone, and they're just going to outflank that, right? But he's a non-factor here. We're going to peel and get him. You seal him off. Our wide receiver steps inside and goes and gets the safety because you want your corners to be involved in having to make a play on the run because they don't like to tackle. And we go and we score off of inside zone. So I'm definitely playing stress here. Okay. So maybe I'll make a video on stress. And it's great because we keep run fit defenders from that third level. He triggers down and makes a big play. I go back to stress again, and I couldn't get on my defender, right? Which pissed me off. But we get a sack. Okay, I'm running the glance concept again. Look, it's double high. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to throw this. This looks like cover 4. He should be triggering down if I want to throw it, but I threw it anyways. To me, it just looks so pretty out there. I probably should have threw this. I didn't even look because if it's quarters and that quarter flat hinged inside, then we would have leverage to the outside. Maybe I'll go back and look at it. So I was looking at this formation here, and it's just a lot of good stuff in here, man. Slot 2 buck, pretty decent. This verticals Y option, I was looking at that, right? I'm like, you know, let me pick this. Seems like I can do a lot of different things from here. Pre-snap read, I know that this is cover 3 based upon this guy being stacked like that pre-snap. He just moved him over. So we should get like a roll here. Right, so with this play, I was thinking, come back, fly it out. We get a flat, we get a high-low over here. right? Snap the ball. I think I threw, yeah, I threw the comeback. This playbook is loaded with really good stuff. So, okay, so this is where, remember I told you that the other play, the other RPO that we got a touchdown on benefits this play as well. When you get a situation like this where he backed up his defense, we should have checked to that play because in that play, he has the option of turning this into a fade or into a hitch. So I would assume, and you hate to do that with Madden, that if you ran this play against this look, he would hitch it up, you could snap and just throw this, right? But I was dead set on throwing the glance, and I got bailed out by horrible coding by Madden there. But that's what I should have ran, right? So right away you could see how you could build a scheme with the glance, the RPO read Y flat, throwing some passing plays there, etc. So I decided, all right, let me go to other plays, because other formations, because I don't have that much time left in the game before it's over. And I saw this, and I'm like, wow, this looks like a really good play. Sluggo verts. I've always seen Sluggo Seam, where you have this guy running a seam, this guy's running like a hitch on the outside, right? But they switch it up a bit, and they have this guy going on a vertical. And I'm like, you know what if you just turn this guy into a comeback pattern? And I like how they have the check release here, so we get a high-low on this side of the field. This play should torch a single high, right? You get single high man, you can look, once you pump, if you can beat that guy, that's a touchdown. But if he doesn't, then obviously you would work back to the seam comeback read. If it's zone, then you're merely picking on the high-low. This play, I don't even have to run it, 4 or 5 times. I know you can run this against single high, and you would torch single high, right? So he's in single high. I really wanted it to be man because I thought this would be great footage if I can get the pump and go. But when looking at this player, when he turns like that, I know it's some type of zone. So I'm looking for my comeback, and that's what we get. This is a good playbook so far, man. I've only went into like 2 or 3 formations. This looks like 2-man, so I decided to utilize this play and motion him in to have like a reduced split. And my idea here, I really don't like this against 2-man, but I was thinking whoever is defending this back, I was thinking it was him because he's on the LOS. I was thinking, well, you should be able to outflank him to the flat. So I think this play should be good based upon the bad alignment here. I was going to snap the ball and out throw him to the flank. To the flat. But in true Madden fashion, he runs right into the left tackle. I really do think that I don't even think that these guys play their game, to be honest. So now I'm just panicking. I'm like, let me throw the curl. I don't think that they play their game as much as we do. And if they do, I don't think that they actively try to learn what the game is all about, like the game of football, right? Why a particular concept is designed to work the way it does. I think it's important to learn the whys, not just the whats, right? You learn what stick is, but learn why it is what it is, right? Because when you know the why, when it doesn't work right, you'll know why it doesn't, right? So, if the developers understood the whys of, why they run at this depth, right? Maybe it's because if you run it at the wrong depth, it just ruins the entire play with the spacing, right? And then you'll be able to go and fix it in your game, right? But to me, I think they just learn the whats and they just throw it in the game, right? And I think that's just the wrong way of doing it. So here I decided to go with this play, throw comeback. I won't go over it because I think this video is way too long. I was trying to get something going before the end of the half. Look at this. This is just 4 strong with this concept here. It looks like you can do a lot of good stuff with that. Look at this RPO read bubble. This is this playbook here, man. I'm surprised. This right here, RPO Peek Stick. I went over a video on this. Why when people run trips, they run this play to conflict the mic. I made a video maybe 2 years ago, and I went through the video, and I was kind of trying to gauge your thinking on why that is, why this is, etc., and what a defense needs to do to kind of lessen the conflict of the mic, right? But I mean, in that video, you kind of see why a team would design a play like this and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, right? So when I learned of that, I'm like, wow, this is the game is just has a lot of nuances to plays, what they're trying to do, RPOs, what they're trying to do. It's all about leveraging and putting a player into conflict, making it to where you're never right, right? But I love that play right there. And you never see people run this play. You never see people run it because to them it looks like it doesn't make sense. But when you learn it, you almost like, well, I want to run it, right? So here it looks like he's in cover 2 zone. So I'm gonna check out. So looking at that play, let me go back. RPO Peek Stick. Right here. Okay, so second defender in. So this is the mic, right? In a double high coverage, he's supposed to relate to the number 3, right? His pre-snap alignment alone, we can attack this, right? Because if at the snap of the ball we snap and we look like we're gonna run, right? He wants to honor his gap. We just immediately throw this stick almost every single time, right? If he were to align over here to defend that, we snap the ball and you stay in the window of the stick. Well, now we run it and we have a favorable box because you're not in the box, right? You just punish that mic over and over again from a double high safety defense with a concept like this. I just think it's really cool. I might actually start making videos on the Seahawks playbook. I think it's so good. I played with the Ravens the other day as well, and their playbook is insane, right? So I was surprised at a lot of the different gems that are in some of these playbooks, right? Maybe when I first started playing the game, I kind of overlooked a lot of this stuff. Snap the ball. My idea, we're just running 4 verts, stretching the safety to hell, and wanted that X to run off the mic there. And we're just going to throw it right over his head. Get a touchdown, and I think he had enough at this point. Game wasn't going his way. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys got something from this video, and maybe some guys out there will implement the Seahawks playbook or try it out. All right, man. Peace.